Everyone is carrying something. If you sit still long enough, you'll start to hear it. Just under the small talk, behind the coughs, beneath the polite nods and hollow laughs. A weight, a wound, sometimes recent, sometimes ancient. It doesn't matter how well dressed, how cheerful, how organized someone appears. If they've been alive long enough, they're bleeding somewhere on the inside. The question is not whether we will suffer. The question is what we will do with it. There's a kind of pain that tries to jump, that doesn't want to stay where it landed. It looks for the nearest living person and lunges. We see this when someone lashes out at the grocery store, when a father passes his disappointment into his daughter's bones, when a stranger starts a fight because their life is falling apart. We've all seen it. Some of us have done it. Some of us do it still. Not because we're bad, but because no one ever taught us how to hold pain without throwing it. But it can be done. And it is one of the most dignified things a human being can learn, how to carry pain without passing it on. It begins with telling the truth. Not out loud to the world necessarily, but inward, honest recognition. I'm hurting. Most of the damage we do to others happens because we won't admit that simple fact. Instead, we say, I'm fine through clenched teeth while our hands are already forming fists. We punish others for not seeing the wound we won't confess we have. But pain kept in the dark tends to grow sharp, and pain denied turns into cruelty. Next, it requires remembering that others are not responsible for what was done to us. That truth is harder, especially when someone seems to touch the very nerve of our old suffering. A spouse, a child, a coworker, they say something that opens the gate, and all that rage or grief or helplessness starts flooding forward. And if we're not trained in this art, we hand it to them. Or we throw it, or we let it leak out through cold silences, sarcasm, punishment. But to carry pain without passing it on is to build a kind of internal hearth where the fire can burn safely without scorching everyone who comes near. There's a word for this, transmutation. It means turning one thing into another. And that's what the noblest people do with pain. They don't just stuff it down or pretend it doesn't matter. They change its shape. A man abandoned by his father becomes the most attentive father in the neighborhood. A woman who knows betrayal gives the gift of fierce loyalty to her friends. A person wounded by cruelty becomes the most careful guardian of kindness in the room. This isn't pretending, it's alchemy, and it is some of the most sacred work there is. But how? A few practical things help. First, silence. Not the cold silence of withdrawal, but the warm silence of slowing down. Learning not to react the instant pain flares up. A breath, a pause, one deep inhale before the sharp word leaves your mouth. Pain is impatient, but wisdom waits, and in that waiting other options appear. Second, speak the pain to someone safe. It cannot stay locked inside forever. Carrying pain doesn't mean hiding it. It means choosing carefully where and how to place it down. A journal, a friend, a walk in the woods where your grief can echo and not hurt anyone. Even a prayer whispered into your own pillow at night. Let the pain be seen, but let it be seen on your terms, not by accident when it explodes onto someone who doesn't deserve it. Third, remember that the chain can stop with you. There is a strange and deep honor in that. To say, it reached me, but it will go no further. Maybe your parents handed down shame, or your community handed down silence, or life handed you a raw deal. But when you choose not to hand that to someone else, you are doing sacred work. You are protecting the innocent from the echo of a wound they didn't cause. It's not about sainthood. It's about skill, strength, practice. You might fail sometimes. We all do. But the more you practice the art of carrying pain well, the more peace follows in your wake. And that peace is contagious too. One day someone will ask, how did you stay so kind with all that happened to you? And you'll smile, maybe sadly, and maybe you won't answer right away. Because they won't know what it cost. But you will. And that in the end is how the world gets a little better. One person, one breath, one act of mercy at a time.